I'm Bob, and I'm here to talk about the Capital Mineral Club and also the show that we're producing at the Everett Arena. And this is Tony, who also belongs to the Capital Mineral Club, and he has part to do with the show also.
Hi, yes, I'm Tony. I'm past president of the club and collect minerals as well.
Okay, and so we're going to start off with the first slide is a picture of the Everett Arena, which shows all the mineral dealers that are in there and showing their wares. And we thought we'd show you a few dealers and how they're set up in the show. And they sell their wares, of course, and people come and buy minerals that they can't seem to get around New England. There's also jewelry. Lots of jewelry dealers, and people come in and buy their things. And generally, they're a little bit less expensive than usual places where you go to buy things. Here's another one with a mineral dealer, and he has smaller minerals. And there's, of course, there's large specimens and there's small specimens. And so here's a little guy having a ball. He's having fun. He's panning for gold, and you could see by his face that he's enjoying himself very much. He works at the thing. He did quite well that day, I guess, for finding it. And look at this young fella. He really had a good time, and he had a lot of fun collecting little pieces of gold, and they were shown how to pan for gold also. Now, there's specimens of large sizes. This is what we call a large hand-sized specimen, and they go right down to micros. So this is a beryl crystal. It was mined in New Hampshire for beryllium oxide, which was used in nuclear reactors and so on and so forth like that, and also as a gemstone. Shoal, tourmaline. This comes from northern New Hampshire. It comes from the town of Groton. But just to show you what kind of gemstones, not gemstones, but crystals that can be found in the state of New Hampshire. Here's a smoky quartz. This comes from the North Conway area. Smoky quartz, as you'll see later, is a fine crystal that can be used for cutting and make jewelry. But it's a much sought after material, because everybody likes to be able to collect smoky quartz. This is mica. This mica is used for lots of things. And Tony, you might be able to talk about a little bit about mica and say what it is.
Mica is a very important mineral specimen that's economically been mined here in New Hampshire for quite some time, and is used for the electrical industry as an insulator. It's one of the best. It's also used as windows for furnaces, and it's a very valuable asset that has been mined here in New Hampshire. So.
Okay, thank you, Tony. And we'll continue, but that's good about mica. Here's a quartz crystal. Quartz crystals are found, and this is a clear quartz crystal. And when they come clear like that, during the Second World War, it was much sought after for submarines, for optics, for the periscopes. And there was lots of mines that produced these. Now, here's a specimen that comes from Kazakhstan. It's a beryl. It's a golden beryl. And you can make jewelry from this material. It's facet grade. Here's a this is not a faceted stone. This is a gem carving that was done by a very, very famous carver that lives in New Hampshire, but he's known all over the world. And he likes to sell them, of course, and they are quite nice, and he's very famous for his particular type of carvings. Here's a specimen that gets down to where it's a large specimen, but it's a little bit, the crystals are getting smaller. And the crystals mean that there's micro minerals in New Hampshire. And of course, you need it when you talk about micros. You've got to have a microscope or a magnifying glass, and you can look through the machine. And here's a specimen of what we call johnsite. This specimen was discovered in 1972, and we found it in Palamo Mines in New Hampshire about the same time, and but the other guy found it first, so it was named after Dick Johns of California. Whitmorite. Now, that one they didn't get away with. Whitmorite is one of the new species from New Hampshire, and by the way, this particular specimen was named after me, and I'm quite happy that they did. Here's another one. This is another specimen of micros, and it's Dick Johns was named after it, and so we have another mineral like that from under the microscope. Now, what happens also is at the show they sell cabs, they sell quartz, faceted quartz, faceted diamonds if you want them, and rubies and sapphires. And agates, they're polished agates. They make beautiful jewelry, and that's found at the show. You can find tiger eye, and they make jewelry out of the tiger eye. And beads, colored beads, they can be tourmalines, garnets, clear quartz, smoky quartz. There can be all kinds of things like that that are found. And here's another set of round beads that's also type of material sold at the Gem and Mineral Festival. Now, here we have displays. We call them museum type displays. People that have great collections come here and they put up their wares to show people what can be found. This is a display of fossils. The man that has this comes from Vermont, and he probably has the best fossil collection east of the Mississippi. So I consider that wonderful for kids to see. Here's some more of them, fish and other kinds of things, which quite nice. You might not see them very often locally. Now, yes, you've seen the fossil displays, but yet we also have a fossil dealer that is there at the show. So there's all kinds of things that you can use. Here's a fossil that was done by a jeweler, and so you can get pendants and necklaces or whatever else you want with these fossils, which is quite nice too. Now, here we are with the some of the displays again, and this is a beryl display, which is quite nice, and just to show you how these different displays look, because I think there's 15. Where is there 15 displays, Tony?
Easily and possibly more. Yes.
Yeah, and there's quite a few displays there, but I think there's 15, okay, maybe 20.
Yeah. And
so they're all great pictures, and we can't just show you an awful lot of them, but here's another case with minerals. These are all done by local collectors. Most of them belong to the Capital Mineral Club, and they like to show their wares, and they put them on display here at the Capital Mineral Show. Here's a nice display right here. Very well used material that's quite nice. Yeah. Now we go to our other part of the show, which would be competition. We have people that are in the club that cut stones, and they like to show them, and they also put them on display, and they're like a little contest. So people can go look at this case, they can look at it, they're all numbered, and they can put a number on which one they like the best. And what would happen would be at the end of the show, we have a gem cutter, which is this small boy who won the first place trophy. And he was quite happy, as far as I can see. He really enjoyed it because he beat the old timers. Here's some of the display that with a different type of stones that were cut. Now, here we go and show you, you talk about gems and minerals. This is a machine that's used for cutting gemstones. You have a man that's cutting and faceting his own material and making beautiful stones like you can see. That's what the machine looks like. Here it is again showing the wheel, and it's usually probably carborundum or it's diamond dust, and they make these facets and make the stone look beautiful. And his wife takes his gemstones and she makes jewelry. This is her workbench. She has all kinds of tools and things there, and she does silver work, and she makes her own fancy jewelry. So you've got a team working there together. And this is some of the stones that can be cut by the local cutters. Most of them belong to the Capital Mineral Club, and this is a faceted quartz. We have a faceted peridot with a single crystal of peridot. This is from Myanmar, and it's quite a nice specimen. Here's a very large amethyst. It's from Brazil, and I think it's about 350 carats. And there's some nice things that come out of the rest of the world too. Well, Tony, since I've done most of the talking here, it's your turn to talk about a few things. And I think that it would be awfully nice if you told the people about the Mineral Club itself and what's available.
I would like to do that very much.
Okay.
The Mineral Club is one of the things that I find absolutely fascinating because of the breadth and depth of knowledge of the individual members in the club itself. We have meetings that are on a monthly basis. They occur on the first Saturday of each month. Mm-hmm. And we'll be starting in September at the Salvation Army building in Concord, New Hampshire at 58 Clinton Street. So if you'd like to come down to see one of our meetings, we would love to have you. And as I sort of indicated, we have a huge set of disciplines, from mineral collectors to gem cutters to jeweler makers, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that from Bob. So.
Well, yes, we have a lot of things, and the first part that I would show was authors of books and paperbacks and monthly magazines and everything. And this is a book that was published on Palermo Mines in North Groton, New Hampshire. And then we have a bi-monthly magazine that comes out, and this one was on apatite. The people from the Capital Mineral Club has been in this very deeply, and there was 1 or 2 or 3 authors that was in this publication and talked about different kinds of apatites. So then of course, this is an old magazine, we'll call it. It was done a while back, but it was just on New Hampshire. We had 20 or 30 authors, and probably 15 of the 20 authors would be all from the Capital Mineral Club that wrote these articles. And it turned out to be a great publication of mineral collecting in New Hampshire. So that's one of the things that we do, and that's one of the parts of belonging to this organization. You can, if you come in, we're always looking for new help. We're always looking for people that can do things that the rest of us can't, or even help us with things. So we're always looking for new members. Now, there's one other thing that we do here, and that's we go on field trips. Field trips can be all kinds. This particular picture is sort of digging a foxhole, we'll call it. And if you could see a guy down there next to the person that's standing there, they're digging in the dirt, because what happens is this material will come down from glaciers, and you have to dig in the sands and the dirts and see if you can find crystals in the ground. So that's part of the field trips. We also have field trips that are very well organized. We go to mines where a lot of times mineral collectors can't get in, but if you go as a club and the club has insurance, the person that owns the mine will be much happier because you have your own insurance, you know, so that's a big deal. And This particular one was a trip that was up in Maine that we go to, because we go all over New England, and we had a guest speaker there that talked to us all about the mining up in Maine. So it's wonderful. Here's another field trip where people are going in and looking for different kinds of minerals that were all over, and you're on your own on this trip, but a lot of the trips are guided with experts. So that's about it as far as that is concerned on that. And we have one little last thing for the end of it, and we're going to say we're going to go out with a bang, and this is a bang of an explosion that's going to go off, and just to give you an idea of what happens in the field when you have guided field trips and you can have a blast and see fresh material.